there. So the yellow flag for all over the racetrack, really.
Billy Decker in the 91, one of the cars that crashed. The other one, the 71E of Carl Fuzzy Van Horn. And Fuzzy avoids being lapped. He is still on the same lap as the leader, just getting away from the 126 Billy Pouch.
He also avoided getting belted. And the last time he spun out at this racetrack, I'm going to tell you what, he collected almost the whole field in his front bumper. There's the incident being replayed for you again.
The other car involved 76 Freddie Smith.
Smith is the only independent suspension front-end car in the field. This is a late model sportsman-type design put together by Barry Wright.
Dick, here's the Billy Decker number 91 on the hook. Meanwhile, Alan Johnson has come into the pits. Looks to be taking on fuel and tires. Andy Fusco is there in the Johnson pit.
With Tico Connolly, the owner of the 14J. Why'd you bring Alan in so early?
Just for gas, so we can go back out and try to get the $10,000 lap.
You did the same thing last year. You stopped on lap 26. This year you're stopping on lap 22. Do you think you got enough gas to go that far 100 laps?
Yeah, we can make it.
Alan Johnson, who's proven here at Syracuse the last couple of years, he gets the best mileage out of a big block. Back up to you in the tower, Roy and Dick.
Here's the field coming ready for the green flag again. Billy Pouch out in front. And that lap car beat Kenny Brightbill down underneath. And Brightbill still has the slower car between himself and race leader Billy Pouch. That is Brian Goey, who is the lap car. Brian had to come through the non-qualifiers race to make the field. He has finally gotten into it, and boy, he is making life difficult for runner-up Kenny Brightbill. Brightbill cannot get by him.
Yeah, he's not doing it deliberately. Certainly he's not doing it deliberately. But keep in mind that if he could somehow or another get by Pouch, and if then there were a caution flag, he would pick his lap back up again. He'd be back in the lead lap, and certainly that's what he's trying to do.
He ran as well in the non-qualifiers races we've seen anybody run throughout the entire week. And now running virtually as fast as race leader Billy Pouch, but a lap down to the leader. Kenny Brightbill still second. And then C.D. Colville is holding off Frank Cozy, who is running third in the 44. Then Jimmy Horton trying to come back up through the field, the former winner in the number 85. We got trouble over in turn number 2. A hard crash into the wall. Rick Jeffries. And right there with him was Charlie Rudolph, the 111. Jeffries got into the wall. Rudolph down the track a little bit farther coming out, and Freddie Smith is the car that got into the side of Rick Jeffries. And that's Dave Blaney on the back straight, not Charlie Rudolph. We're going to look at the replay of that accident involving Rick Jeffrey. Here you see it right here coming down into the first turn. A couple of cars coming out of shape as they go by, and you can see 3-4 cars coming together. Jeffrey, the black car, just hitting the wall back at the far top of your picture. He just got into it all alone, it seemed. Then Freddie Smith slides into him. They do a little tate-to-tate out there and a waltz around. Meanwhile, off to the left side, you'll see the number 1 of Blaney hitting the wall. Rick Jeffrey, the number 82. 76, Freddie Smith.
The pits are absolutely full right now, and Pouch is trapped in the pits by the wrecker. Pouch had the wrecker stop just about in his pit area. He is in, however. So is Cozy. So is the 85 of Horton. Bateman is in. Many of the front runners in at this moment. We are watching Pouch changing his rear tires. We are watching Horton. His crew is trying to push him off. Apparently the car has stalled. Horton will be the first out of the front runners. Brightbill will inherit the lead as a result of all this. Pouch still in. They still have not got his tires changed. Horton is gone. He is ahead of him.
Hoffman came out running second. Doug Hoffman came out running second. Here comes Pouch. He'll be third.
Long stop for Pouch. Long stop. Remember, the majority of competitors did not pit at this time.
Doug Hoffman has an air hose stuck on his car, we are told. He must have pulled out of the pits with it still attached.
And that'll bring Hoffman back in again. He's not going to be able to do much with that air hose stuck on there.
Well, the field remains under the yellow. Pace car staying on the track, so they'll go around one more time. That will give Hoffman a chance to get in.
And we have a report of rain on the racetrack, just about as we said how nice the weather was, Roy.
Here's a picture of the air hose on the car of Doug Hoffman. You can see it dragging off the right side of the car.
It's car 125 on your screen right now. majority of these teams do not do a lot of pit stops, and as a result, they're not as experienced as some of the other teams and other forms of racing. This is the most important pit stop activity that they will get all year.
The white flag is out. Hoffman did not go in.
No, that hose is getting cut up as he goes along. You see it dragging behind the car there. He may be all right after all. If they don't black flag him for it, where that hose is right now, Hoffman should be okay, as long as it doesn't cut a brake line or do some other damage to the automobile.
Brian Goey is the first car. He is on the inside of the front row, double file restart. On the outside is Kenny Brightbill. Brightbill is the race leader. Goey trying to get his lap back. The pace car is out of the way. The field picking up the pace. Here comes the green flag from Paul Luff, but a heavy crash, a major
Half
crash.
the field is tangled up in turn 3. Oh, look at this. Count the cars. There must be 15 cars involved in this thing. The racetrack is entirely blocked. This will shut it down for sure.
And another car with smoke coming off it down the front straight. The leaders being slowed down, going down into the back straightaway. I did not see what set that up, Dick, but half the field is involved. 444 Brian Stevens, the car you see right there smoking heavily.
Now that looks like tire smoke. He may well have been one of the few people to get through that thing okay. Welcome to the world's most expensive parking lot.
Here's a look at the restart. Watch as 3 rows back, number 98, Eddie Marshall, pinches down on the number 10 of Richie Urich. Marshall runs into Urich, and the Orange County champion then hits the fence. Urich either loses control of the car at this point or possibly bumps into the 71 of Scott Kania. In any event, he spins in the turn in front of the entire field, and the track now turns into a bumper car ride at the county fair. Up front, one car rolls over and comes to a rest upright. You can see Alan Johnson, Jimmy Horton, Kenny Tremont, Charlie Rudolph, and Dave Lape are all heavily involved. The blue number 17 of Toby Tobias spins out trying to avoid the gigantic wreck and then backs into a car anyway. Another angle from in front of the crash shows Urich has already begun to spin. The whole field hits the brakes but has no place to go except into each other. Several cars hit the wall very hard while another rolls completely over. The number 444 of Brian Stevens somehow manages to slip through the massive metal and escape this enormous pileup. Cars continue to slam into the roadblock until the track is totally closed. A very expensive incident in turn 3 has ended the competition for many of dirt's best. Andy Fusco is at the accident scene with one of the drivers involved.
Dickie Larkin, did you roll over?
Yeah. I rolled over a couple times, I think. I don't know. I just kept banging. Somebody in front of me got together, and I went around the outside of it, and that was it.
Are you okay?
I think so. I'm going to get out. I'm kind of banged around in here a little bit. It's a little tight in here. It's kind of tight inside the car, so my legs are all banged up and stuff like that. I think I just want to get out and stretch.
Dickie Larkin, the one who flipped here between turns 3 and 4. He looks to be okay, but the car is damaged.
Dickie Larkin took a wild ride for sure. As we just heard, he doesn't think he's injured, but that remains to be seen. That flip had to be unsettling to say the least. He's getting out of the car. He appears to be shaken, but all right. The Dirt medical staff is going to check Larkin out completely before allowing the Lebanon Valley Star to leave the track. But there's the 10 of Richie Urich, and look at the damage to that car, Dick.
Now the whole back of that thing is pushed in, but fortunately that's mostly cosmetic damage. It will certainly affect the aerodynamic qualities of the car. Even the back of the roof is gone entirely. Here's one of the key problems. Will they be able to get fuel in the automobile without having a problem? When you have a lot of rear end damage like that, you always wonder, and it looks like the fuel is not going to be a problem. You can even see it gurgling into the tube when they put the dump can up there. Now we're starting to get things cleared away. You can see a lot of the competitors that were able to slow down for this thing are able to simply drive away from it. Now we're going to see who's damaged and who's not.
Now there's Doug Hoffman, one of the multitude involved over there, and Doug has gone into the pits. I'm sure they're going to take care of that air hose now.
If there's any of it left, we can't see any air hose sticking on that automobile anymore, but they're surely going to want to take a look at the car. Oh, Dave Lape on the hook. This was his best chance ever to win Syracuse, he said this morning. He had the car dialed right in. Usually he even has trouble qualifying. This time he qualified extremely well, but he is on the record. The almost annual Fonda champion on the hook, going into the pit area. Significant front end damage to that car.
This was his 13th Miller High Life 300. He is 4th in the all-time point standings. His best finish ever was a 3rd. And there's the 111 the Taylor Chevrolet on the hook, and I'd say that one is out of it for the day.
Yeah, he's well damaged. The right front area is so far back that it's almost impossible for him to fix it.
There's Alan Johnson, the 14J. He won this race back in 1983. This is his 12th Miller High Life 300.
Looks like they're working on the sheet metal in the back of that thing, Roy. Maybe it's all bent up. Perhaps the sheet metal was into the suspension, into the tires. This is not stock sheet metal. We can quite guarantee you that.
And here's Donnie Wetmore. Donnie out of Weedsport, New York, won one of the semifinals here yesterday. But he is definitely out of the action today. There's no way they can get that one repaired.
This accident has caused significant damage to many of the sleek new body styles in the field. Dick Berggren describes some of the differences between the new and the old body styles.
Back in 1972, when Buzzy Rudiman won the first of the races at Syracuse, he used a coupe body on his car. But shortly after Buzzy won that race, coupes got hard to come by, and competitors began to manufacture their own bodies, and they started building bodies shaped like a gremlin. And inside, you had a little deck that helped give you some downforce. There was a small wing inside. But the cars were open wheel. Nothing covered the tires in the front or in the back either. But this year, new rules make cars like this less competitive at Syracuse. For 1988, there's something new in the wind. Here's the new deal for 1988, modern body styles. Look how wide they are, right in line with the tires rather than leaving the tires exposed. The aerodynamics of these bodies push the cars down much harder than they were pushed down before. Drivers say they have to use a whole new suspension, in fact, in order to hook up the track properly. Very importantly, they're also allowed huge internal side wings. They can even wallpaper the bottom of these, and some have turned these into aerodynamic tunnels, just like Indianapolis cars. Big difference in aerodynamics for 1988.
Pace car is out of the way on the back straight. They'll get picking up speed going into the third corner. And Brett Hearn and Kenny Brightbill running side by side. Danny Johnson is 6th. We mentioned the top 5 earlier. And Brightbill gets a jump on him down in the corner. He got the hammer down first.
Yeah, the green flag still is not out. It just came, Roy. The green flag just now came out. Oh, crash coming off the 4th corner.
Richie Urich.
Urich bumped into the wall. He is sideways. Oh, and another car has just collected Urich. We have cars everywhere on the racetrack. The whole front stretch is tied up with cars. It is still going on.
Well, that started. Richie Urich got out of shape. 76, Freddie Smith involved.
That is fuel you see pouring out of the back of Urich's car. Remember, he had a lot of damage to the back of that car earlier.
John Flock in the 77 involved.
That is just raw gasoline pouring out of the racetrack. Urich, get out of the car.
And Urich is out. He's okay. Glenn Fitzgerald's the other car involved, number 35. A lot of gas on the track, as you said, Dick. It is just a big puddle down there.
But they're doing something really smart, Roy. They're not letting anybody drive through that fuel. That is raw gasoline coming right out of the back of Rich Urich's fuel cell. As long as they don't drive over the top of that, they should be okay, should be able to dry up that gas and get it squared away. These tanks hold 22 gallons, and you're seeing about 21 3/4 worth of it being poured onto the racetrack right now.
Here we go. We look at it right here. There is Urich. He got some help.
He sure did. He was airborne coming off that corner, Roy.
And now you'll watch Brian Stevens. Here's Urich bouncing back off the wall. Now watch Brian Stevens just come through right about right here.
Hello,
take the side.
Boom. There it is. And you can see the fuel's coming out right away.
He's just lucky there was not a fire right there.
Our camera was lucky, too. It almost took a piece of the bumper off Urich's car right in the lens.
Here we'll look at it from another angle. Same crash. Richie Urich will be on the outside of the track. Here's somebody, look at it down inside. You've got somebody badly out of shape. That's the car that hit Urich. I can't catch the number on it as Urich goes into the wall heavily. Then comes off the wall, comes out into traffic, and Brian Stevens collects it.
Now, apparently Urich went over Mikey Romano's tire. And look at this, it is still going on. This crash took a long while to continue. You can see on the right of your screen, on the lower side of your screen, that's Brian Stevens. Now you can see how damaged that car is that Roy was talking to you about. That Stevens tire rolling down the racetrack. It virtually tore the whole rear end out of the car. Incredibly, look at Stevens is still driving that thing. He is still steering the car. He wants to get it up out of the groove, get it out of the way, so there'll be no further damage to the automobile. That's Brian Stevens you're looking at now on your screen.
I got to say, some incredible camera work done by the expert crew here on the Dirt TV team.
They've done a great job today. They really have. And there's been plenty for them to shoot as well. Look at Urich's car. All corners of that car are damaged. You can't damage them a whole lot worse than that and have everything come out okay for the driver.
White flag back out on the track. We're ready to go back to racing action. Kenny Brightbill still leads. Brett Hearn running second. Eddie Marshall is in third as they go down into the first corner. Jeff Hetzler had been fourth. He is a lap down now, moving Danny Johnson up into the number 4 position. And running fifth, the active one, Ray Bateman.
This is Bateman's second appearance ever at Syracuse. Last year he finished 39th, which is hardly finishing at all. So he is having the best run of his career for sure on a big racetrack.
Frank Cozy in the number 6 spot. Cozy has run up with the leaders all day long. Billy Pouch running 7th. Pouch has come a long way back, and he is running in the number 7 spot right now. 8th is Fritz Eppright. He's had a good run. Jimmy Horton is 9th. As your leaders are all on the lead lap, they come down on the hammer again. Elvin Felty in the number 86 car, rounding out the top 10. Coming down before the green flag is out. They are hauling off the 4th turn. Green flag is waving. And Brightbill pulls away immediately. The front 3 cars are running bumper to bumper. Then a lap car before 4th, 5th, and on back. The lap car is the 61 of Super CD Coville, who came from the non-qualifiers race. He was the alternate starter, the first alternate to get into the field. That was because Bob McCready did not take the green flag today, so Coville got into the race. But it's Kenny Brightbill out front, Dick, and he has just looked so strong all day long.
Yeah, he really has. He's never won one of these things, only finished in the top 10 here one time. If he were to win today, what a story it would be. 48 years of age, Kenny Brightbill had once left this event and gone off with a competing sanctioning body to run the then Nazareth National Speedway in a fight with the promoter here, and it was quite a while before he decided he was going to come back, and right now he is running better than we have ever seen him run.
Well, Kenny Brightbill, Mr. Outside, is just one of those guys you like to watch.